Today, as a part of UG 5th semester, I will cover a video session on operators and control statements in Java. We'll start our topic with operators. In Java, in order to perform different types of operations, we require operators. Basically, operators are categorized into three types. As you can see on the screen, there are unary type, binary type and ternary type. All these operations are a mix of operators and operands. Let's start with unary operators. In Java, unary operators are operators that operate on a single operand. Operand, it could be a variable or an object where the operator is applied in order to perform various types of operations such as incrementing, decrementing, negating or inverting a boolean or bitwise state. We will see some of the unary operators that are used in Java. The table consists of different types of unary operators, starting with the plus operator and the minus operator. This is called as unary plus and unary minus operators. Basically, a operator, when it is applied on a single operand, that operator is considered as a unary operator that we have seen. Now, if you see in the example section here, a unary operator is operated or is applied on the operand a single operand. Similarly, the minus unary operator and this increment operator, which has two plus signs, and the decrement operator which has two minus signs. Basically, increment operator will increment the value by 1 and the decrement operator will decrement the value by 1. If you go further, there is pre-increment and post-increment. So, pre-increment is incrementing the value first, then assigning the value to the operand. Post-increment is first assigning the value and incrementing the value. Okay. So, if you move further, we have logical NOT and also bitwise complement. This logical NOT is a unary operator which is applied on the logical operators, which we will discuss in the coming slides. And the bitwise complement is also a unary operator which is applied on the bitwise operators, which we will cover in the next slide. The second category of operators is binary operator. In case of unary operator, we have seen only one operand on which the operators are applied. But in binary operators, there are two operands and one operator. So, binary operators are the operators that operate on two operands. These operators perform a wide range of operations such as arithmetic, relational, logical, bitwise manipulation and assignment. Without these operators, it is difficult for us to perform any kind of operations which are very important in or while writing the Java code. As listed here, these are the binary operators. First, we will discuss about the arithmetic binary operators or simply arithmetic operators. So, here also we have a plus or addition operator, a subtraction operator, a multiplication operator. Don't confuse with the unary plus. Unary plus is completely different from binary plus. Binary plus operator is applied on the operands, two operands, whereas unary is applied on only one operand. So, basically it adds the values of two operands. Similarly, with the subtraction, multiplication, division and modulus. So, when an operator is applied and two operands, that operator is called as a binary operator. So you might have seen these basic operators while you are doing your basic mathematics, but you have to have this clarity that there is a difference between a division operator and a modulus operator. Basically the operation is same, but the value that we are extracting or considering is different in the two cases. In the case of division, we look at or we consider the coefficient of the division operation. In the case of modulo operator, we will consider the remainder of the division operation. Apart from these two, the remaining operations are similar. So we will move to the next one, relational operators. Relational operators plays a key role when in the case of conditional statements. Basically these operators are used to compare the operands. Like you can see in the table, there are different types of operators starting with equals to or double equals to. Okay, this will compare two values. You can see here A double equals to B. So it is not an assignment operator, it is a comparison operator. What we are doing here is we are comparing A with B. Okay, so if both are same, it will return true. If both are different, it will return false. Second one is not equals to operator, which will check again whether two operands are same, similar or not. Okay, so based on the results, it will return either true or false. So you have greater than operator, less than operator, greater than or equals to operator, and less than equals to operator. Basically we are checking whether a value is greater than another value or less than other value. As I said, the importance of these relational operators can be found while working with conditional statements. The next type of operators are logical operators. We have here two logical operators. One is logical and another one is logical or. Basically these operators are applied on the statements or truth values. We have a similar type of statements called as bitwise operators, which look similar to logical operators, but there is a difference. Logical operators are applied on the statements like sun rises in the east. That is a statement which is a truth statement. And the color of moon is red. That is a false statement. So the logical operators can be applied on these types of statements. The overall principle is same as the bitwise operators, but the operands or the entity that you are applying are different. Next we will go to the bitwise operators. Bitwise operators, like I said, they look similar to the logical operator, but the difference is where we are using or where on which we are applying them. Bitwise operators operate on the bits, binary bits, whereas logical operators are applied on the logical statements. As you can see in the table, bitwise operators are bitwise AND, bitwise OR, bitwise XOR, left shift, right shift, unsigned shift. So as I said, these operators are applied on the binary bits of the data. So if you want to perform any binary operation like binary addition, binary subtraction, binary AND, we have to use these operators. Bitwise AND will produce the bitwise results or will produce the bitwise results. Like I said, the principle of and or are same in case of logical operator and bitwise operator. Only the entity changes on which we are applying. Left shift operator and right shift operators move the bits towards left or right. If you see here, I am trying to shift the value a by 2 towards the left side and here to the right side. Okay, an unsigned shift is it will shift towards the right side by 2 places by adding 0. So these are the different types of bitwise operators that we can use in Java. Next we have assignment operators. Assignment operators are used to assign some value to a variable. Okay, normally we see a single assignment operator like a equals to 10. But if you go further, we can also use assignment operators like a plus equals to, which is nothing but, I have given an example here, a plus equals to 5 is equals to, or it can also be written as a equals to a plus 5. Basically, you are adding the value 5 to the existing a value. Similarly, minus equals to or subtract and assign operator also does the same. It subtracts value 3 from the existing a value. And in case of multiplication equals to, it multiplies the existing a value with 2, which looks something like this, a equals to a into 2. And division and assign performs division operations on the a value. So instead of writing a is equals to a plus 5 or a is equals to a minus 3, we can use these shortcuts. A plus is equals to 5, a minus equals to 5. Now the third category of operators is ternary operator. Ternary operator, also called as conditional operator, that can be operated on 3 operands. So normally we use ternary operators or conditional operator as a short form of if-else statement. We'll cover if-else statements shortly. Now if you see the syntax of this ternary operator, it looks something like this with a question mark and a colon. So we are checking a condition here. If the condition is true, then expression 1 will execute. If the condition is false, then the expression 2 will execute. Okay, so since we are using 3 operands here, it is called as a ternary operator. You can see that in this example, we have value a equals to 10, b equals to 20. And I am writing the expression, max is a variable and a and b are other variables. So max, if a is greater than b condition, then it should return a. If not, it should return b. So this is how a conditional operator or a ternary operator is written. So in this case, the value of a is less than 20. So the condition fails. So the value of b will be displayed. So that is why you got the output 20. These are the 3 types of operators that we use in Java. Starting with unary operators, where we have incrementation, decrementation, bitwise not, and so on. And in binary operators, we have addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, where we have applied these operators on 2 operands. Similarly, in binary operators, we have seen the relational operators, assignment operators, and so on. And finally, in the operator section, ternary operators, also called as conditional operators, that we have seen with an example here. Let's move on to the second topic of the day, that is control statements. If you know that the execution flow of any program happens sequentially or step by step. The execution starts from main function, then it proceeds step by step. Now in some cases we require to alter the execution flow. Suppose if I want to repeat one statement, or if I want to skip one statement, or if I want to jump from one statement to another statement. How we can do that? We can achieve that using control statements. In Java, control statements are of three types. One is decision making statements, which covers if statement and switch statement. The second is loop statements, which has while, do while and for loop. And finally we have jump statements, where we see break statement and continue statement. We will look at each statement one by one. So let's start with decision making statements. Let's start with if statement. I will show you how if statement works. This flowchart here will help you understand the flow of the if statement. So right now the current execution point is here. Let's assume the point is here. Now I want to execute this if code only when this particular condition is true. I don't want to execute this code every time when I run the program. So what I do, I will put a simple if condition and I will test the condition. If the condition is true, then only this if code or the statements here are executed. Otherwise, the if block is skipped and it will come out of the if statement and it will run the remaining code of the program. You can see this is the syntax of how you write a if condition or if statement, and this is the example of if statement. So you write the if and within parentheses you write the condition, and if the condition gets true, then the following code is executed. Here we have a simple example to understand this concept. So I have a variable age equals 20 and I am checking whether the age is greater than 18. If this is true, then the following statement gets executed. So I am checking whether person is eligible to cast his or her vote. So I am assigning the value of age to 20 and I am checking the age here and deciding whether this statement gets executed or not. In this case it gets executed. Why? Because the age value is greater than 18. So in that way you can control the flow and decide whether a particular statement should get executed or not. Now this is simple. Now what if you want have an extra option? What if my age is less than 18? What it has to do in that case? Unfortunately, if statement or if syntax doesn't have any feature or option of doing that. We have second type of if statement, that is if else statement, which has the extra option of executing if the condition gets false. Now same, we are at this point and we want to execute this particular code, right? So here we are checking the condition. If the condition is true, then the following code is executed. If the condition is false, then it has the second option of executing the other code, which was missing in if statement. So if else statement has this extra option of displaying other statements if the condition gets false. You can see the syntax here. If this condition is true, then it gets executed. If this false, then then this statement gets executed. You can see this is the example. Int number is equals to 10. If number modulus 2, here we are looking at the remainder, not the quotient, equals to 0, then it is even number, else it is an odd number. So we have extra option to choose. Next we have if else if. We call this as if else if ladder. Suppose in the if else scenario, when the if condition is false, then automatically else statements executes. But if you want to stop that, or if you want to check if once again, then you can use if else if statements. Okay, so here we are checking the condition. If the condition is true, then the statements are executed. If the condition is false, I am not automatically executing the statements, but rather I am checking the condition again. Okay, if this gets false, I am checking the condition again, and then only I am executing these statements. Okay, so this is also called as if else if ladder. Now here are some examples of writing if else if code. I have marks as 85 and I am checking whether the marks are greater than 90. If this is true, then this gets executed. If this is false, then this gets executed. This is also false, then it gets executed. So you are checking multiple conditions at a time by using if else if ladder, right? And we have nested if condition. So nested if is writing if condition within if condition. Okay, suppose if you want to check multiple conditions and you want to make sure all the conditions are true, then only the statement should execute it. Then you should use the nested if condition. And this is the example of nested if condition. Just go through it. So I am checking this multiple times, and this statement gets executes only when these two if conditions are true. And next condition is switch statement. Switch statement is also a conditional statement, but without the expressions. I mean, we have the flow chart here. It will begin here and it will check each and every case by comparing the expression given here with each and every case. Whichever value matches the expression, that particular statement gets executed. I will show you the example here. So day is 3, the value day is assigned here, and there are number of cases which are listed here. Okay, now in this case day 3 matches with case 3. So this system.out.println Tuesday will execute. Okay, not only with the integer value, character value, we can also write switch statement with the strings also, and also you can also return the switch statement values. So after executing this, you can return this value to a particular variable also. This option is available from Java 14 version. And finally we are left with loop statements. We have different types of loops: for loop, while loop, do while loop. So for loop has 3 sections: initialization, condition checking, statement. First the value is initialized, then the condition is checked. Only when the condition is true, then the statements are executed, and after the statements are executed, the value is incremented. This gets repeated. Loops are used basically to repeat the operation or to print something repeatedly. While loop is similar to for loop, but it has these 3 conditions separately. Sorry. So it starts with the first checking condition. Only when the condition is true, then it prints the value, then it increments the value, and it checks the condition. So first the value is initialized, then the condition is checked. Only when the condition is checked, the statement is displayed. So it also performs the looping operations. And finally, we have do while loop, where first the statements are executed, then the condition is checked. The only difference between while and do while is this. In do while, we have statements executed first, then the condition is checked. If the condition is false, then the process is terminated. And finally, we have jump statements. Jump statements, if they are executed, the flow will terminate from that particular point and it will jump, it will come out of the loop. In this case, if you see, if I is equals to 6, then it will terminate. And we have continue statement here. Continue statement here, it will skip that particular instance. If I is equals to 6, then in the case of 6, it will stop that particular instance and it will print the remaining numbers. Now in this case, you will see values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. It will skip the 6th instance. In break, it will stop at 6. It will only display up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Continue will only skip that particular instance. Thank you very much.